Well, folks, this is Yamil Sued for Gunstock Reviews. We're here in Phoenix, Arizona with Marty at Enloe Custom Guns. How you doing, buddy?
Good.
Marty, today I want to have a quick discussion. It's not going to be quick. It's probably going to take a while. Talk about how often do we clean our EDC. I'm using your pistol here as an example of an EDC pistol. This is a Glock 19, basic Glock 19. But when you EDC a pistol, you leave it in your holster and forget about it sometimes. You take your holster off like I do. I unclip my inside the waistband holster, put it away at night, put it in the morning, and go about my business. Mm-hmm. Well, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine from the local police department, and he carries his pistol in his duty holster, and it's one of those Safari Lands that is level 3 that has a little cap that covers the red dot. He removed that because, you know, he had a reason for it, and one of his coworkers asked, why do you have your red dot exposed? He goes, well, every day before I go on duty, I pull my pistol out of the holster, set up my RMR the way I want it, wipe it, clean it, brush it, and put it back in. I'm ready to go. And he told his coworker, look at your red dot. And he had the cap on, he took it off, and his pistol was covered in dust. When he told me that story, I said, I wonder what would happen if I don't clean my EDC for about 3 to 4 weeks. So I did that, and I'm going to show a picture on the screen. What happens when you don't clean your pistol for about 3 weeks. I'm also going to put a picture of the trigger area. And these dust bunnies were the size of Texas, okay? This thing was covered in dust, skin cells, and all sorts of other gunk that, you know, this morning I was wearing my cat on my shirt, by the way. So she landed on my lap and rubbed all over me, and I was wearing the cat. So that happens to your pistol. So Marty, what are the choices that you can have? This is your pistol. Back to you. How often should we clean our pistol, our EDC, and how should we clean our pistol? It doesn't have to be as detailed as what we did earlier with another pistol that you go in with Q-tips and.
Well, it's largely based on conditions, right? Mm-hmm. So I bounce it around between guns. I actually got this gun for my wife 7 years ago. But the thing is that I carried it for a period of time as well, and it depends on your conditions. Now you're describing cleaning once a week, or maybe every few weeks.
Oh, I don't know. The picture on the screen was 3 weeks. Okay, that I just took it off, put it away, never took it out of the holster once.
I'd say. Once again, it depends on conditions, because, you know, you can be carrying a gun, you could be in a dusty environment. You could have different carry situations, like let's say you're talking about your friend who carries on a regular basis and he has a hood covering it because it's exposed outside of his waist, right? And he could be banging that into a bunch of things, right? Now, he probably has a lot more reason to look at that, you know, especially because it's out there in the open sitting on his hip all day, right? I have a tendency to IWB and either appendix carry or on my hip, and oftentimes that's covered. Doesn't mean debris doesn't get in there. I probably look at it, and when I see something that says I see something nasty, I go, oh yeah, I should do something. But I also probably regularly put rounds through those guns. And like I say, I kind of go through a rotation of guns. I go through, you know, just a couple that I just am comfortable with, and I say, okay, here's what I want to carry. What's funny to me is anytime I carry a 1911, I know when it's dirty because I can see the firing pin at the back, and I can just see dust on the back. Now, does that mean it's inoperable? No. A gun like this. Glocks have a lot of slop in them, and so that's actually one of the nice things about them is that, okay, with all this slop in here, if there's dust and debris, it's generally going to work okay, right? Now, that doesn't mean that you should shoot it, shoot it, 1,000 rounds and put it right back in your holster and leave it there for the next year, right? I've seen lots of guns where guys did pocket carry, where they had either they were stick it in their pocket or they actually had a pocket holster. And well, there's a downside to that. Think of all the lint in your pocket and what happens to that. It ends up in every crevice inside the gun. If you were going to be, let's say you were religious about it, I'd say once a week would probably not be a bad thing. But once again, we're wiping it down. If you're regularly shooting it, that's probably a good ritual after you fire it, just so that it's there. And once again, I'm not going super deep into cleaning, right? But I'm just going, I'm not pulling out every component. I'm just taking the slide out, wiping everything down, making sure that it's got some oil on it. I generally just don't want it dry. Mm-hmm. But yes, conditions could be part of that. Let's say you're wearing a lot of clothing. I mean, that's not a huge thing here in Phoenix, right? But let's say you got a bunch of coats on or something that could end up having like lint or debris kind of rub into the areas. Or yes, you're outside, you're running around in a dusty environment. I regularly carry and I'm around a sandblaster every once in a while. Well, there's sand that gets into things. We're in the desert. That's another thing. Like I said earlier, you could probably ask 50 different people who are experts and get 50 different answers. Mm-hmm. I generally clean after some sort of hard shooting. After that, I probably pull the slides off, wipe them down, maybe every 2 to 3 months is about what I do. Like red dot sights, right? Any sort of red dot sights, I mean, yeah, I'd probably want to make sure those were clean every time I looked at them, right? And I don't actually carry with any red dot sights, so that would probably change my ritual a little bit. Making sure I knew it was on, making sure when I was stuffing it in my waistband, oh, hey, that thing's on, it's working, that's part of just a check, right? Check to make sure it's there, and then, of course, making sure that you're rotating through ammunition is another thing. Mm-hmm. One thing that happens is, and I've got a slew of dummy rounds here, right? But dummy rounds, just like regular ammunition, get worn out, and I regularly have to replace them because you cycle that thing into a gun, it pushes back into the gun. Well, how many times do you want to cycle your actual carry ammunition through the gun? Mm-hmm. I think manufacturers usually say 1 to 2 times, right? 1 to 2 times, maybe 3, right? But every time that thing goes up the feed ramp, that thing gets put in a different position. That means how reliable is your first shot going to be if you just keep reloading the same one over and over and over again? What you do is you make sure that ammunition goes into a pile somewhere, and that becomes some of your range ammunition at a certain point. But you rotate through. You regularly need to be rotating through your ammunition, and if you're downloading, I think police departments a lot of times have a policy where if somebody goes over here, they have to download all their ammunition, and then go qualify, right? And then they have to put new ammunition in their guns. And the reason why is because I have no idea how many times this thing's been cycled through. It's probably sitting back about 1/8 of an inch where it should be, right? And this is a dummy round. It has no primer. It has no powder. But if this thing ever got fired in this condition, there could be some big unexpected things that could happen as a result.
Big unpleasant things.
Well, what would be an unpleasant thing for your daily carry gun? If it looked like this and you went and pulled the trigger and nothing happened, right? That's a possibility, right?
Yeah.
And that's why we consider that range ammunition at some point, and not the carry ammo. And those are just some of the things that should be thought of if you're regularly pulling these things apart, if you're regularly looking at them to go, okay, how good is that ammunition going in there? Okay, how good am I maintaining it? Does it need to be, if I go crawl through the mud tomorrow, yeah, I'm going to be cleaning that pistol, right? Or grabbing one that I know is serviceable, because like I say, I probably carry 4 different pistols. Mm-hmm. But each one of them, probably within the span of 3 months, I probably go through. So.
Well, and in my case, the photo I put on the screen, that had been carried inside the waistband for 3 weeks, but I never took it out. Considering what I did after my experiment was taking it out and taking compressed air, or I have one of those little blowers that you use on your computer keyboards. That's an electric blower, and I blew air all over it, took all the dust out, took lens cleaning wipes from Costco, cleaned the lens front and back, dried with a microfiber cloth, and I was ready to go back.
Well, let's put something else out there. How well do you trust your system, right? So the system of the optics, the pistol, whatever you're using, right? So Glock 19. This is what, Gen 2. It's fairly well trusted. You know it's going to go bang, right? And this one probably hasn't been carried in a few years, but the fact is that I've actually shot this pistol enough where I actually place a lot of trust on it, right? I know even in its current state, it's pretty good, right? But you should be regularly shooting some of these things so that you know how good it is. In which case, regularly shooting means you're regularly also going through the stages and seeing it cleaned.
Okay.
If your first time, if your first time ever having shot some of these things is when you draw it on somebody, how much trust are you going to place in that? Because that goes to trigger manipulation, right? If you don't regularly at least get some amount of practice with these things, even if it's dry fire practice, right? How confident are you going to be when you pull the trigger that, okay, you're going to hit what you're aiming for? A lot of times people buy a pistol, right? They get a cheap pistol, and then they get that box of carry ammo, or God forbid they're carrying FMJs, but could happen, right? And New Jersey, right? So it's like, okay, how confident are they that what they want to have happen right at the moment when they need it, it's going to happen, right? Are they going to hit what they're aiming for? Are they going to, or is there going to be reliable? You shouldn't be finding this thing out the first time you have to draw it on somebody to use it. But that's why we're saying, yeah, you would regularly clean it, but yes, you want to be regularly shooting it as well. So.
Okay. Well, I guess, so once a week, we should take our EDC pistol, unload it, blow it.
I say a few months.
Few months?
Like I say, it depends on conditions, right?
Yeah.
Once a month's probably not a bad thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but it's so, depending on condition. If you live in a hot, humid Miami, no dust, just hot and humid, there you might have to wipe it down to remove body salts from the pistol, because that happened to me last summer. I rusted a rear sight. I carried a belly band first thing in the morning, and the rear sight rusted.
Yeah.
Because
and that can happen too. I mean, the guns get sweated on, right? They get sweated on if you're carrying it in a leather holster. Yeah, leather absorbs water, and that kind of translates onto whatever goes onto the gun, and that's not a bad thing, especially for like blued guns. If you're carrying a blued gun, a 1911 or something, then you would probably want to be. Honestly, that's not a bad idea to wipe it down once a day. Just put something on it. And the reason why is because in hot conditions like here in Phoenix, you could be sweating on it.
Yeah.
And another thing that happens, one of the reasons why I started carrying more polymer frames is, for me, I'd be carrying a gun here, and I would sweat across here. And I would just, the contact with my body, right, is it would sweat kind of across this. And I would start to see metal frames turn colors here.
Okay.
And it's just a regular spot, and that's actually one of the biggest reasons why I just started carrying polymer pistols more. Not saying I don't carry other pistols, but not like on 1911s you could get some amount of skin flakes and debris up inside there, but you still have the confidence in the system to know that unless I was like just shooting it every single day,
Yeah. That'll be a totally different situation, yeah, because you're looking at it every day. See, my friend in the PD, every day he goes on duty. He works 4 days and then 3 off. So he takes his pistol at night, puts it in the locker. Next morning he grabbed his duty pistol, looks at it, wipes it down, cleans it, and sets the RMR to the way he likes it, and then he's ready to go. So he looks, like you said, his pistol is out in the elements all day. And so doing that is a great idea, because the last thing you need is you have to use it to defend your life, and you find that your red dot is full of dust,
Well,
and you can't see through it.
bear in mind, the police, he's probably has some sort of like external duty holster. So picture this sticking off your body more, and everything you walk into, it's getting hit, right? You know, that's another factor. When you carry a pistol here, yes, it's tight to your body. You still seem to hit these things more.
Yeah.
It's just it's.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna. His gun is gonna get more abuse than a lot of other guns.
Yeah. Well, not for. I mean, our local police department has pretty scheduled qualifications.
Right.
It's like that old myth that police guns were never fired. It's no longer the case. They qualify quite often. And as a matter of fact, I was at the police department last night doing a tour, and after they come back from the range, there's a big, huge table. They go out there, take their pistols out. They're supposed to clean them right then and there before they go back on their holster. The pistol has to be cleaned. No exceptions. Every officer has to go there and clean their pistols. So it's a good idea for us as civilians to once in a while take the pistols out, look at them, clean them, make sure that that it is supposed to be doing what we want them to do, and shoot them, like you said.
Right.
Take them out once a month. I don't know. You know, this would be a good idea to. It's not that you're gonna cycle through your EDC ammo, your carry ammo every month, but
At least that top round.
at least that top round gets fired off. Grab another one. It's your safety.
It's also recommended you not fire. You at least try shooting your EDC ammo through your gun. Yes, I understand it's expensive. Yes, I understand it's a little bit more, but you want to make sure that ammunition actually works in your gun.
Yeah, well, that's true too. I mean,
And that is a possibility that you would run an ammunition that potentially would not work in your gun. And so there's lower quality manufacturers out there and even some of the higher end guns that just do not have a tendency to run. And you shouldn't be finding that out right at the moment where you need your gun to work the most.
when I sighted in this gun I'm carrying today, it's a Glock 48. I bought that Federal kit that has 50 rounds of HST and 50 rounds of the practice ammo that is packaged together and is supposed to have the same point of impact.
Yeah.
So I sighted it in with the practice ammo, and then took 5 rounds of the HST ammo, put it in a magazine.
I would still at least try to fire at least the one HST, at least a few of them.
I did 5.
Honestly, you would probably want to try an entire magazine. Just
That'd be a good idea too.
And the reason why is because, like 1911s are a good example. 1911s were a gun that was designed for a round nose bullet, right? That's what it was designed for, right? Hollow point ammunition came along much later, and we had to modify guns in order to get it to work.
Yeah.
Now, for the most part, most hollow point ammunition seems to work just fine. But I have run into some 9mm guns that just do not like it, and not say most like Glocks you won't run into issues, but some of the 9mm 1911s sometimes do not like
Hollow point ammo.
So, well, and it could be just that manufacturer. So we're just trying to find that combination of stuff that works, right? Police departments, obviously, they have to run a lot of this stuff out there, so they know what works in their guns and what doesn't, right?
Yeah, my local department carries Glocks. They're moving to the Glock Model 45, and they carry HST 147s. Everybody has the same pistol. Everybody has the same ammo. They has the same regimen of cleaning and maintaining the pistols. I think it's not a bad idea for us as civilians to do the same thing. To shoot it, clean it, and make sure that when your pistol, look at it every day. I mean, I did this experiment on purpose. I purposely did not touch my gun for, didn't take it out of the holster for 3 weeks because I wanted to see how much junk could possibly be accumulated.
Now, there is one other factor to consider there, which is even though you and I carry a gun basically every day, not everyone carries that pistol every single day. And it's one thing to consider how often does it remain in a safe, right? You know, if it's sitting in a safe, you know, or closet or whatever, right? Is it being carried on a regular basis? Because some people have jobs that won't allow them to carry a pistol. And there's also another consideration there, which is it sitting in a car? If it's sitting in a car, you could have conditions that would cause issues like, let's say you got a lubricant in there. You could have the lubricant harden up with the heat. You could have it evaporate because of the heat. You could also be killing your ammunition that's sitting in the car. Let's say we're in Phoenix, so every car out here is 150 degrees. It's probably one of the easiest things to kill ammunition off, right? You know, if you had ammunition sitting in a car for 6 months, you would certainly want that rotated out.
Okay, yeah, that's
range ammo.
yeah. You know, I never leave my pistol in the car unless.
Once again,
It just depends on who does that, but yeah, that's a great idea. So, you know, we can continue this conversation for hours, but we'll split it up in a couple of different videos so that we can take that concept and take it to different levels, whether ammunition, cleaning, maintaining, and even storage of our EDC ammo. Well, hey, appreciate your advice is very well, you know, appreciated, because I learned a couple of things that I didn't know, and in my experience, I think I should cycle through my ammo a lot more than I do. I spent one load of ammo that I carry for like 2.5 years, and that's not good. And I did shoot it. I still have some left over that I'll use, the same HST 147, but it was in my gun for over 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's not a good idea. Well, thanks for watching, and please like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. Please remain healthy with Hygienol products, and stay safe, and definitely have fun at the range.
Thank you for watching Gunstock Reviews. Please visit our website at www.gunstockreviews.com for more exclusive content. Please visit our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/gunstockreviews. Your contributions would be greatly appreciated and help us grow our selections and frequency of videos.